Welcome to Wicked Shizuku's Reviews, bringing you a southern perspective on books, movies, music, and much, much more. Stick around for a while, you just might hear something wicked. Well, hello again, and it is episode 65 and a Friday's read for Wicked Shizuku's Reviews, episode 65. So, I hope everyone has had a good New Year's. Happy holidays, everyone. And if you haven't noticed, we took the jump over to Rumble. We've been getting a little bit more traffic over there, and I welcome new viewers, and I hope you enjoy what I'm doing here. You can find me over on Twitter at samlandtoll, and you can find me over on Substack with my archives at Wicked Shizuku's Reviews, Samantha Tollison at substack.com. I'm also over on Telegram for, whatever social media still provides and everything. I don't want to be a social media troll, so so I'm going to go ahead and jump into my Friday reads, and I will be covering the Book of Etiquette. Last time, we started with the little courtesies of daily life. And the last section we read was courtesy in the street. So we will be picking up when a man offers his arm. A gentleman always offers his arm to an old lady or an invalid. He offers his arm to a woman companion when crossing dangerous streets, walking down the steps of a house after dark, crossing a narrow bridge, or walking over a rough piece of road. He offers his arm during a sudden storm or shower to hold his companion to a place of shelter. If they come to a puddle of water, he crosses first, and from the other side he offers her his hand to help her across. The man who helps a woman into an automobile or onto a streetcar may put his hand under her elbow to assist her. In leaving the car, in order is reversed. He alights first and offers her his hand. It is never correct for a man to take a woman's arm. Bowing in public. The first and invariable rule is that the woman always bows first when meeting man acquaintances. Here, as always, etiquette is tempered with common sense, and when a man and a woman who are friends meet in public, they will greet each other simultaneously, impulsively, without stopping to consider who should bow or nod first. Two young women meeting in public each greet each other simultaneously. When one of the women is married and the other is unmarried, they are meeting for the first time after an introduction. The bow of recognition should come from the former. Younger people of the same sex wait for the first sign of recognition from the older person. No well-bred person cuts an acquaintance. That is, no person who is truly courteous and kind fails to acknowledge a bow or smile, unless it is because of some extreme offense committed by that acquaintance. If, for some very good reason, you do not wish to continue an acquaintanceship, you can indicate it without deliberate cut. You can keep your eyes averted, or you can bow or nod with extreme formality. People who meet often during the day need not bow nor greet each other each time they meet. A smile or a glance of recognition is all that is necessary. As for the bow itself, it should not be a deep, flourishing, exaggerated bow, but a slight inclination of the head accompanied by a cordial smile or a word of greeting. The handshake. The handshake is a natural and instinctive gesture of friendliness. It comes down to us through long generations, from the time of the caveman who extended his weapon hand unarmed as a symbol of his desire for peace. Today, it is so natural a part of our civilized personality that we do not even stop to think about it. When you meet an intimate friend in public, the bow or nod of recognition seems too formal, too cold. You want to express greater pleasure and cordiality. Do not kiss, for that is bad taste in public. A warm, firm handshake, handclasp, carry your message of greeting. There is an art in handshaking. One must neither grip the hand so that it paralyzes the fingers, nor hold it in a slack, weak pressure without the slightest warmth or life. The correct handshake is brief. The hands are clasped together firmly for a moment. There is a feeling of strength and warmth, and that is all. There is no violent shaking, no exaggerated motions. Let your handshake express your personality. With the strangers particularly, let your handshake be warm and cordial, for it carries with it neither a feeling of friendliness or a feeling of irritation. When two men meet in public, they generally offer their hands in greeting, unless they are comparative strangers. A man does not offer his hand to a woman unless she offers hers first. But if they are intimate friends, they offer their hands at the same moment. All people who know each other and stop for a moment when meeting shake hands. But the handshake is not necessary between acquaintances who merely nod and pass on. Etiquette at one time required the gentleman to remove the right glove before shaking hands with a woman, but common sense quickly found this custom awkward and impractical. It was far from graceful to see the woman with her hand extended while the man tugs frantically at his glove. This custom gradually gave way to the custom of saying, "Pardon my glove," when shaking hands with a woman. But this too has fallen into disuse, and is no longer considered good form. The gentleman accepts at once the hand that is offered him, returns the handshake with the warmth and cordiality, and makes no excuse for being gloved. Raising the hat. Like the handshake, the raising or lifting of the hat is a conventional gesture of politeness and courtesy. A gentleman raises his hat when he is in a club, hotel, or apartment house elevator. The elevator in a business building or store is regarded as a public place, and it is not necessary to remove the hat. When he meets a woman in the street and bows to her in greeting. When he is walking with a woman and they meet a man who is known either to him or to her. When he greets an elderly man, a superior in office, a clergyman, or a man of distinction. When the American flag is carried by, or when the national anthem is played. When a funeral passes by, or when in the presence of death. Some special occasions. If a man stops to speak to a woman in the street, he removes his hat. He does not replace it until they go their respective ways, or until they resume their way together. If it is a very cold day, he may ask permission to replace his hat, or the woman herself may suggest that he do so. If a woman drops her bag or gloves, the man who picks them up hurries ahead of her, offers the bag or the gloves, and says, "I believe you dropped this," or, "Doesn't this belong to you?" The woman should accept her property simply, without fuss, and say, "Thank you," cordially to the man who has returned it. He raises his hat and turns away instantly. There is no further conversation. Of course, circumstances alter cases. If the bag contained valuables, and if it were returned by a man who looked as though he could use it, a reward should be offered. But here great tact is needed. You must not hurt anyone's feelings. Your manner is more important than what you say or what you do. If the reward is refused, and you must not insist. When taking leave of a woman or of a group of people which include a woman, the gentleman raises his hat. If there is no woman in the group, and all the men are intimate friends, they may omit the gesture of politeness. The man who rises in the streetcar or subway to give a woman his seat raises his hat. If he is thrown by a lurch of a car against a man or a woman, he raises his hat and apologizes. If he enters a crowded car with a woman and another man rises to give her his seat, he raises his hat in acknowledgement. If he asks a man for information, he raises his hat when thanking him. If anyone asks him for information and thanks him, he raises his hat in acknowledgement. The gentleman neither accepts courtesies nor extends them to others without raising his hat. How to raise the hat. There is an old proverb that says a hat raised half-heartedly is a courtesy without charm. Since hat raising is a gesture of courtesy, why not make it courteous? Profound and elaborate bows are not in good taste and not desirable, but a nod of the head and a cordial smile should certainly accompany the little polite act of raising the hat. The custom of touching the hat instead of lifting it is unmannerly and lazy. The hat should be lifted from the head, even if one is greeting another man, and the nod and smile should carry the thought. There's Mr. So-and-so. How glad I am to see him. The high hat or the derby is lifted by holding the brim directly in front, lifting it high enough to escape the head easily and bringing it forward a few inches. A soft hat may be taken by the crown instead of the brim, lifted slightly from the head and put on again. While lifting the head should be inclined slightly. In the streetcar and subway. It should not be necessary to warn persons who come to see rare and costly engravings that they must not touch them, nor persons visiting art museums that they must not touch the marble statues with their canes. Yet it is necessary. Nor should it be necessary to warn people not to be boisterous, rude, discourteous in streetcars and subways. Yet it is. Even people who are ordinarily well-bred and well-mannered forget to be courteous where courtesy is most necessary. The rough and tumble manners of people in subways and streetcars is not necessary and not forgivable. We can forgive haste and even crowding when such things are unavoidable, but we cannot forgive the man nor the woman who is careless of other people's comforts, who pushes in and out of the cars or trains without a thought for the others around him, who stumbles against people and tramples over feet without so much as an apology. There may not be time for a polite "I'm so sorry" in the subway car when one has been thrown by a sudden lurch against another passenger, but there can be no excuse for hurrying ahead without at least a glance of regret, that little smile of understanding which carries with it the thought, "I am so sorry, but it was unavoidable. Too bad the cars are so crowded." To the really well-bred person, boisterous manners on the streetcar, as in the ballroom, are unthinkable. A person of fine taste and breeding never, by word or action, attracts attention to himself. He talks in quiet and subdued tones. He does not laugh so loudly, and he attracts the attention of everyone in the car. He is gentle and courteous in his manners, never stooping to quarrel in public, always turning aside round, with a quiet and kindly word. Who pays the fare? Car fare is so small an item that the woman may permit the man she meets in the street and with whom she boards the car to pay it. But if a man finds himself by chance next to a woman of his acquaintance in the car, he should not offer to pay her fare. If he does, and if she does not want to say, I have the change, oh, does not want to feel obligated to him even for this slight amount, she may say, I have the change, and give it to the conductor. No gentleman will insist upon paying a fare when the woman has indicated her intention of paying it herself. The woman who meets an acquaintance in a restaurant does not permit him to pay her meal unless he has specifically invited her to join him. It is becoming more and more customary for women to pay their own way, and it is both awkward and in poor taste for men to press the point. It is only when the woman is definitely invited to the theater or to dinner that the man assumes all obligations. Giving up the seat. The gentleman still gives up his seat to the lady, despite the fact that, according to Dr. Eliot, there is a general coarsening of manners. Etiquette generously forgives the tired elderly man who retains his seat in the crowded subway while raucous-voiced girls, frankly chewing gum, swing from the straps in front of him. But even this tired man, being essentially well-bred, will courteously rise and offer his seat to an elderly woman, or to a woman with a child in her arms, or even to a man older than himself. The man who shuffles half-heartedly out of his seat and steps aside without a word or gesture while a woman standing near by accepts his place is expressing only half a courtesy. The woman is grateful for the seat, no doubt, but she feels a little uncomfortable. She does not like to feel that she is depriving the man of the seat he wants, and the man's attitude gives her exactly that impression. How much more comfortable she would have felt if he had said, won't you have my seat? Or even if he had only smiled cordially and nodded. Whether she accepts or declines the seat offered her, the woman should be gracious and courteous. If she does not express the words thank you, her smile and nod of acknowledgement should convey the thought, how very nice of you to offer me your seat. If she expects to leave the car at the next station, the woman may decline the seat that is offered her, saying, thank you, I am getting off at the next station. But she should not refuse the seat if she is remaining in the car, for this would be rude and discourteous to the man who offers it. Do not wear your courtesy like a watch, to take it out now and then when you want to impress people. Be courteous always, not only in the street and on the car, but in shops, at the theater, wherever you go, with whomever you happen to be. Radiate cheerfulness wherever you go. Recall with Barry that those who bring sunshine to the lives of others cannot keep it from themselves. Make people feel at ease. Do little kindnesses. Express little courtesies. Overlook the little rudenesses of other people. Never make another person appear ridiculous, and rather hurt yourself than injure the feelings of another. Remember that courtesy, like a boomerang, will return to you who send it into the world. Be courteous to everyone, and you will attract courtesy wherever you go. Be gentle, be kind, be simple in your tastes, and sincere in your actions. Let everything you do and say be governed by a desire to please others, for these are the things that distinguish a fine character. And that is the conclusion of this session today of reading. So I really hope you enjoyed it. If you found it educational, if you found it strange, give me a like, subscribe, and share. And if you have any questions about this mysterious time of the 1920s, leave me a comment below and I will get back to you as soon as possible. I hope you have a good evening. Good night, everyone.